Sloan holding the ball above his head, gives it to JoJo White, starting to move on Gotchel. JoJo White. This is the one. Daniel Braddock comes off with the rebound. Here's Don May now out on the outside. The ball is knocked away by JoJo White. Look at him go. Taking the ball and in towards layup. Don May comes off with the rebound, so Dayton gets the break as JoJo White misses the easy kill, and the ball comes down to Sadlier. Goal sending. The basket will count. Sadlier gets two. And it's now 16-15, or 16-16, all tied up. Roger Bonesteel comes back into the game for Greg Douglas. All of a sudden, this game looked like Hampton was going to pull away. They were up by 8, 14-6. And now Dayton comes literally flying back. And they've tied the game 16-all. With the score, Dayton 16 and the University of Kansas 16. We'll be back with more NIT action in just a moment. The Jayhawks went out in front 14-6, but since then they've hit a dry spell and Dayton has started to move. Rick Bradshaw from Chicago's famed basketball school, Marshall Hyde. Working in backcourt, gives to Sloan. JoJo White and Bradshaw back. On the jump shot, Bruce Sloan gives Kansas the lead at 18-16. Bruce Sloan getting his first point. 6 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first half as Don May throws into Sadlier. Out to Bobby Joe. And once again, Bobby Joe is on time as Dayton coach Don Danaher comes to his feet. Kansas has the ball with the game tied at 18. Here's Roger Bonesteel working against Sadlier. And Roger Bonesteel rims the basket and it drops through. So now the Jayhawks go back in front. 20-18. Cooper throws back to Gotchel. Don May on the far side of the court. Moving across now the lane, coming to the near side, right-hand side of your screen. Calling for the ball. That's May with it. Misses everything. Didn't even hit iron as the ball comes down to Rich Bradshaw. Dave Nash on the turnaround jump shot, and the rebound comes down to Bobby Joe Hooper. And as he starts up court, he is accused of pushing off and getting position for the rebound. That's Bobby Joe's second personal, and the Flyers look on, as do the Jayhawks, and those Jayhawks seem to like the idea of a foul on Bobby Joe Hooper. Right now, the score is Kansas 20 and Dayton 18, and there's timeout on the court, and now we return to our studios for this message. Rebound taken by Sadlier, working in there for Dayton with Gotchel, who has the ball, and Bobby Joe Hooper in backcourt. O'Braddock and Don May up front with Sadlier. Hooper has the ball on the outside. Loops the pass into Sadlier, driving the left side of the lane. We have a whistle and a foul call. It's going to be against Kansas. First personal foul on Bruce Sloan. Allie?
If you notice, the last 2 times down, Kansas didn't go into a zone, so they're throwing this on every now and then as a surprise, and it's working pretty much. Also, I think that you'll find that the Dayton team will be going more to number 42 because he can shoot a little bit better than Don May, I believe, from the distance that he has to shoot from. And Don May won't be shooting in too close because of the big fellows.
The Kansas defense obviously geared to stop Don May. But Hooper has been the big weapon for Dayton so far. He has 8 points. May has 2. On the rebound, the ball is taken off by Don May inside court. So with Kansas leading 20-19, Dayton has the ball. Here's Don May starting to drive on Douglas. May gets the shot up. No basket. We have a foul call, and Don May will go to the free throw line for Dayton. Tomorrow, CBS will televise a National Hockey League game between the West Division's Minnesota North Stars and the Pittsburgh Penguins. These two clubs are presently in close battle for the final playoff spot in the West. He grew up 2 blocks away from the Dayton Fieldhouse, had dozens of scholarships, decided to go right down the street when it came time to select one. Dave Nash called for traveling for the Jayhawks, and so the ball goes back now to Dayton. The clock is running with 3 minutes and 48 seconds, and the game's tied at 20. A relatively low-scoring game. Neither team fast-breaking, both with a patent offense. Bobby Joe Hooper from the outside. Dan Sadlier following it in. And now Dayton takes the lead 22-20. Dayton has the lead for the first time in the game. Roger Bonenstein with a turnaround jump shot hit for the Jayhawks. And they're back now in a tie with 22 all. Roger Bonenstein getting his 4th point. We have 2 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the first half. Dayton has the ball. The game is tied at 22. Outside to Don May. Don May hits the jump shot. We have a foul call against O'Bradick underneath on Dayton. I believe the basket will count. It does. It's 24-22 Dayton. But O'Bradick, positioning for the rebound that never came, is accused of a personal foul. And so they come back down to the Kansas end of the floor, and Kansas will shoot a free throw.
You see Don May itching in rather, right close to the spot that he likes. He has a way of looking for a spot, knowing when he gets there, that's his shot.
The bonus shot is in effect now for Kansas as Dayton is over the 16 foul limit. Sadlier controls the tap, and Dayton has possession. Dayton is leading 24-23. At the half, we'll be looking at some highlights of the Harlem Globetrotter show that's coming up next Friday night on CBS. And we'll also watch Hallie Bryant with some of that Globetrotter wizardry. That was Don May missing, and the rebound comes off the Sloan of Kansas as JoJo White comes up court quickly for the Jayhawks. Number 15 is White. Over to Sloan underneath to Nash, guarded by O'Bradick. Dave Nash loops in the turnaround jump shot. And Kansas is back in the lead, 25-24.
There you saw JoJo White moving the ball to the side so he could get it into the pivot. That's one of the best moves to get the ball into the pivot.
This is Jim Gottschall now throwing the ball underneath, intended for Dan O'Bradick. It was knocked out of bounds by Dave Nash. And so Dayton will get the ball back inbound. Into Dan Sadlier. Bobby Joe Hooper now setting things up slowly. Kansas leads by a point, 25-24. Bruce Sloan stealing the ball, knocks it over to White. Fine defensive play by Sloan of Kansas, and here's JoJo White shooting for the Jayhawks. The rebound is down to O'Bradick. And they are mixing it up underneath, going for those rebounds. 1:27 to play in the first half. Kansas 25, Dayton 24. Don May outside, throws to Bobby Joe Hooper, looking for May. May with the ball, guarded very closely by Phil Harmon. Here's Hooper driving inside. We have a whistle and a foul call. It's against Bruce Sloan of Kansas, number 31. Sloan getting his second personal foul. And Bobby Joe Hooper goes to the free throw line. He comes into the game averaging just over 15 points a game. From Lee's Creek, Ohio. 1:11 to play in the game in the first half, with the game all knotted up now 25 all. JoJo White moves the ball for Kansas, throws it over to Sloan. Roger Bonenstein throws underneath, and it's intercepted by Jim Gottschall of Dayton. So now we have 53 seconds to play in the half. The clock running, 50 seconds to go in the first half. Game is tied at 25 all. Dayton with possession. Here's Bobby Joe Hooper. Dayton playing for the sure shot. Don May has it now, starting to drive the baseline, loses control of the ball, and it's off the hands of Don May.
Don May is fighting for his position. He's rushing it just a little bit. I'm sure you'll see an entirely different game from Don May the second half once he goes into the dressing room and gets himself together.
JoJo White on the outside, guarded by Gatchel. Kansas working a play inside to Nash, spinning off the side of the lane. The rebound is off to Jim Gatchel. Up court to Hooper. 1 second, Bobby Joe Hooper firing it up. Wasn't that far off at the buzzer. The score at the halftime now is Dayton 25, Kansas 25. We'll be back with our halftime entertainment in just 1 minute. As the second half is underway, Kansas controlling the tap and moving to your right. JoJo White throwing up the jump shot. And the rebound is down to Don May. Game tied 25-25. National Invitation Tournament Championship. Bobby Joe Hooper holds the ball as Dayton plays for a shot. Since we've seen throughout the first half, and for that matter throughout the tournament. Dayton comes into this game with a tailwind of 13 consecutive victories. Had some rough going early in the season. Lost 6 games by a cumulative total of 15 points. Don May. And Don May is right. He can really show you something from the outside. He's a tremendous shot, as does JoJo White, two of the best shooters we've seen. Two All-Americans who mind great ball players. Douglas looping the ball into Roger Bonensteel, and Bonensteel goes to the basket and calls for traveling. So the ball now comes back over to Dayton. And as Dayton brings the ball up slowly, everyone at CBS would like to thank the tournament committee of the National Invitation Tourney for their tremendous cooperation, and certainly for to be congratulated on the tremendous success this tourney has been. Now as Don May gets the ball in the far corner, he draws the foul from Bonensteel.
Here you notice that Don May is going deep into the corner and moving out toward the ball. He's coming to meet the ball better now, and they're getting him the ball, and he can draw the defensive men out on him, which you saw just then.
28-25. Don May stealing the ball. And Dayton is back in possession. In the game for Dayton, Gatchel who has the ball, and Bobby Joe Hooper working in the back line. O'Bradick is the big man. Sadlier and May are the forwards. This is Don May. Rebound down to Big Dave Nash of Kansas as the Jayhawks come back down. Here's JoJo White dribbling the ball. Bill Harmon up against Bobby Joe Hooper, looking for the big man inside. Can't get the ball to him and throws it over to Douglas. 6'8", Greg Douglas, jump shooting. Rebound is off to O'Bradick. And we will have a jump ball. Dan O'Bradick, 6'10", and Phil Harmon, 6'4". Will go up. We're early in the second half. Dayton is leading 28-25 as O'Bradick easily controls the tip. Jim Gatchel with the ball for Dayton. He's up against JoJo White. Don May is playing on the right side of the lane as the ball is left in the backcourt. Bobby Joe Hooper couldn't quite contain it before he went over the midcourt line, so we have an over and back violation. A violation that gives possession of the ball to the Kansas Jayhawks. Now Bradshaw is back in the game. Bradshaw, number 12 at the top of your screen in the dark uniform. Kansas wearing red, Dayton white. Roger Bonensteel getting position and gets the bucket. 28-27, Dayton by a point. They call Roger Bonensteel the machine. Constantly working. And the rebound comes down. And the foul ball against Dayton. The score is Dayton 28, Kansas 27. And we'll be back with more NIT action in just a moment. This is Don Criqui with Hallie Bryant back at Madison Square Garden before a crowd of over 19,000. Dayton and Kansas squaring off for the National Invitation Tournament Championship. Dayton came back. It was knotted at the halftime, 25 all. O'Braddock puts Dayton out in front by 2 points, 49-27. JoJo White looks for the big man, and now Dave Nash tries a turnaround jump shot, and Don May gets the rebound. At 6'4", one of the leading rebounders in the country, averaging almost 16 a game. He has good jumping ability, but overall he has the timing so necessary for a great rebounder. May is trying to free himself, going either side of the lane, cutting back and forth, looking for the pass. Now as O'Braddock looks, he's fouled by Nash.
Fouled by Dave Nash.
Dave Nash getting a second personal foul. The Masters tournament starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The Masters Golf Tournament coming up in 3 weeks here on CBS. It is now 30-27. Dayton is in the lead, and Kansas has the ball. JoJo White trying to penetrate with a quick between-the-legs dribble. The ball goes on the left side now, and inside to Roger Bonesteal. And Roger Bonesteal comes up with the points. He now has 8. And it's 30-29 as Kansas comes back to within a point. Bobby Joe Hooper holding the ball, throws to O'Braddock. Don May is positioned at the left side of the lane, number 21. Watch him when you can, because he'll be moving to free himself for the ball. The hallmark of any great point producer, moving without the ball, setting himself up. Here's May getting at the free throw line. Gets free for the jump shot.
You mentioned moving without the ball, Don. That means that the man with the ball passes the ball to his teammate and moves sharply toward the basket. If he does that, he has a real good chance of getting loose.
Kansas trailing 32-29. We have a whistle underneath, and the foul call is on Don May of Dayton. That is his second personal foul. As May at 6'4", is accused of pushing off as he fights for the rebound from 6'10", Dave Nash.
I think that Dave Nash has 4 fouls on it now. That's double check and see. But if he gets in trouble on foul, we will be in trouble. Kansas will be heavy.
Nash only has 2 at this juncture now. Oh, he's in pretty good shape. Neither team is in real foul trouble. Greg Douglas at Kansas does have 3, and 4 Dayton players have 2. But no one in any immediate danger of fouling out.
Right on.
Jim Gotcha with the ball, moves into the far corner, and throws out to Don May. As Rich Bradshaw has the job of stopping May. Here's May. Taking jump shooting. Don May hits him. It's now 34-30. As Kansas falls behind by 4. And Don May has just broken the Dayton scoring record with the 1,970th point, now recorded in his personal record book. Look at JoJo White, bring Kansas right back. 34-32.
Flyers lead 34-32.
I think Don May had a little talk with his coach when he was in the restaurant to steal about 2 more feet toward the basket, and this is just what he's doing. This Don May is only 6 feet tall, but he really plays like a ball player that's about 6'7", on offense and defense.
Bobby Joe Hooper on the outside with the ball for Dayton. Playing with 2 broken fingers. Left hand is taped almost like it's in a cast from the fingers on down. The Dayton coach, Don Doniger, on his feet, shouting out instructions, and now we have a whistle. And we'll see what the call is. A 5-second violation. That forces a jump ball. There's Bobby Joe Hooper's bad hand. 5-second violation. They failed to get the ball away. And so that forces a jump ball. Against Cooper. Tap is controlled, and let's see if we're going to have a jump again. So we'll jump it up again at the Dayton free throw line. 36-32 is the count. Dayton is in the lead. Dan Sandlier takes it and throws outside to Gotchel. 13, Jim Gotchel. He has a twin brother, Jerry Gotchel, who's not been in the game yet. They led Dayton Chaminade to the Ohio State Championship a couple of years ago. Sophomores. Here is a jump shot by Don May. That is no good, but as you see, Roger Bonesteal puts his hand up as he is accused of a personal foul, his second, and Don May goes to the free throw line for Dayton.
Greg Douglas, number 20, is back in for the Jayhawks. Replays the Bruce Sloan.
Bradshaw gets the rebound for the Jayhawks, and Kansas hurries down the court. 37-32 is the score. Dayton has a 5-point lead before over 19,000 at Madison Square Garden. National Invitation Tournament Championship game. 12 minutes and 20 seconds to play in it. It was tied at the half, 25 all. O'Braddock knocks the ball away from Nash, and JoJo White gets it back by the midcourt line. Here's JoJo from 25 feet. And sadly, with the rebound, here comes Dayton on a break 2-on-2. Hooper leads the way. The ball is knocked away, and Bobby Joe Hooper goes sailing right into the Kansas fans. The foul is on Richie Bradshaw, and Bobby Joe Hooper goes to the free throw line. And there is the Dayton Flyeret looking on as Bobby Joe sets up at the free throw line for Dayton. Later today on many of these CBS stations, the award-winning CBS Golf Classic brings you a first-round match with George Archer and Doug Sanders meeting Bobby Nichols and Ray Floyd at the Firestone Country Club. This is the 5th annual CBS Golf Classic, a team best ball match play tournament with $200,000 in total prize money and $50,000 to the winning team. Left free, buys a pass inside to O'Braddock. His turnaround jumper. Jump ball was up as Bobby Joe Hooper and Rich Bradshaw tie up. Bobby Joe Hooper is 100% hustle, isn't he, Hallie?
He really is. Even though that injured hand is hampering him a bit, he's still in there fighting.
Dayton with a very patent offense. Here's the lead pass. Another 6-point lead, 40-34. We have 10 minutes and 4 seconds to play in the game. Kansas and Dayton for the National Invitation Tournament Championship. Rich Bradshaw, the good move coming across the lane. And Kansas is back to within 4, 40-36. Top of the key is Dan Sadlier to Bobby Joe Hooper, who holds the ball above his head. And underneath, a foul on JoJo White, his first. Ellie?
That was a prime example of moving without the ball. Don May picked his spot, passed the ball off, and moved forward with great speed to his spot, and JoJo White had to block him out. He would have been wide open for a crib shot.
Don May has now scored 16. He has already broken the all-time Dayton scoring record today. He set an all-time rebounding record the other night. Here's a long lead pass inside, a beautiful lead pass by JoJo White. He hits Bruce Sloan, who is cutting for the hoop, as the Kansas cheerleader goes high up to salute the play. It's 41-38 now, as JoJo White knocks the ball away from Tim Gossel, and will come back inbounds to Dayton. Kansas trails by 3, Dayton in the lead with the ball. Here's a lead pass executed nicely again as Sloan hits Roger Bonenfield cutting for the hoop, and now it's Roger Bonenfield and a Jayhawk fan. And it's now 43-40. Dayton's lead cut to 3. Now Dayton goes the same play, but O'Brien loses possession. And he picks up a personal foul, running headlong into a Kansas player, as Don Danaher comes to his feet. The score is Dayton 43 and Kansas 40, and we'll be back with more NIT action in just a moment. Sadlier has now scored 9 points. There is JoJo White with a free throw, and the rebound comes off to O'Braddock. Don May in the corner, guarded by Rich Marshall, or by JoJo White now, as May goes up. He is fouled. So JoJo White gets the second personal foul, one All-American against another. And Don May is back at the free throw line for Dayton. 44-40, and Don May gets the second. now scored 20 points. Dayton is in the lead, 45 to 40. And Kansas calls for a timeout. So Kansas calls for a timeout as they fall behind by the biggest number of points in the game. They're down 47 to 40, and there is Kansas coach Ken Owen, Jim Sadlier, Kansas in the game with him, Rich Marshall, JoJo White, Roger Bonensteel, and Greg Douglas. Dayton working with Bobby Joe Hooper, Jim Gottschall, Don Nave, Jim Sadlier, and Dan O'Bradick. Rebound knocked out by O'Bradick. It's taken by Roger Bonensteel of the Jayhawks. Here's JoJo White. On the money. 47-42. The Dayton lead cut to 5. Bobby Joe Hooper comes over the timeline, and just before a 5-second violation was going to be called against him, he was pinned in by a zone press. He calls for a timeout. 81 to 78. So Notre Dame finishes third in the NIT, and Kansas and Dayton are now deciding who is going to be champion. With 6:26 to go, Dayton has the lead. 20 content to work the clock now. 6:10 to play. And let's see what the call is now. If we have a whistle, it will come back inbounds to Dayton. Knocked out of bounds by Kansas player. Sadlier, 33, putting it in. Sophomore Jim Gottschall working against JoJo White. Don Ney holding the ball, gets it back outside to Sadlier. Here's Don Ney moving against Greg Douglas. Lead pass inside to O'Bradick. He can't handle it, and up with the ball is Bonensteel over to White, and here comes Kansas on the semi-break. JoJo White inside the Bonensteel with a perfect lead pass, and Roger Bonensteel can't get the hoop inside. Knocked up his hands, and Bobby Joe Hooper takes possession for Dayton. .5:25 to play in the game. Dan Sadlier holds the ball for Dayton, throws it to Don Ney at the top of the key. Out of bounds, and Dayton loses possession, and the Jayhawks take it over. Kansas gets back the ball as JoJo White leads them down quickly. Quick pass inside to Douglas. Don Ney is off with the rebound for Dayton. And so Dayton is back in possession as Kansas missed the end shot. Bobby Joe Hooper dribbling the ball to the free throw line. Comes outside now. And a foul is called against JoJo White. JoJo White picks up his third personal foul. Really didn't get his own step when he had to. His free throws put Dayton out in front by 7, 49 to 42. Number 15 is JoJo White, has the ball. Between 6'8", Greg Douglas, and 6'6", Sloan to get it. Here's Don Ney starting to drive the baseline. He is through for Dayton. 51-42, and Don Ney has broken the ball game open almost single-handedly here in the second half. He has scored 17 points so far in the second half. He has 22 in the game. And Kansas now trails by 9, 51-42. Roger Bonensteel shoots for the Jayhawks. The rebound comes down to Bruce Sloan, and we have a loose ball that's picked up by Bobby Joe Hooper. So Dayton is now in the driver's seat, 3:50 to go, and they lead by 9. Hallie?
There you just saw Don Ney playing the aggressive game that he knows how to play. He did slow it up a little too much the last time down the court. He lost the ball, so he decided to go back to playing the game that he knows best.
That is an all-out, aggressive inside game. The ball was knocked out of bounds by Kansas, so Dayton will maintain possession. They'll put it back into play. Right now, we have a timeout on the floor with the score. Dayton 51, Kansas 42. And we'll be back with more NIT action in just a moment. Dayton has moved out in front by 9 points, 51 to 42. Dayton moving on in the second half behind an outstanding offensive performance and rebounding performance by their All-American forward, Don Ney. He has 22 points in the game, 17 in the second half. We were tied at halftime at 25 all. But now Dayton has a 51-42 lead, a 9-point advantage, and they have the ball with little time remaining, 3.5 minutes to go. May holding it. Gives to Gotchel. Dayton undoubtedly now will go to run the clock. JoJo White knocks the ball away from Bobby Joe Hooper. He dives for it, and JoJo White picks it up and steps on the inbound line. So the Jayhawks get possession but lose it quickly. And there is Don Danaher, the Dayton coach, shouting out. 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the game now. The rebound is taken down now by Sadlier with 3 minutes left to go in the game, and Dayton leading 51-42.
There you saw the versatility of Don May passing off. He had a shot himself, but he passed off. Now I think Kansas will have to go for the long shot.
Don May comes down with the rebound and gives it off to Bobby Joe Hooper. And so now Kansas is got to hustle and get the ball back if they're going to come back into this ball game. They're down by 9, 51-42. The minute and 57 seconds left to play in the game. Second. 53-42. Here's Roger Bonensteel with a turnaround jump shot. And now Kansas comes back and trails by 9, 53-44. With a minute and 40 seconds to go. JoJo White going for the ball. Jim Gotchel dribbling for Dayton. Bobby Joe Hooper in possession now for the Flyers. He's up against White. Dayton in the white uniforms running the clock. They have the lead. 53-44. As they come within a minute and 20 seconds of their second NIT Championship. They won it the last time they were in the tournament back in 1962. Kansas forced a foul to get back the ball, and that is the fourth personal foul on JoJo White, standing just behind Bobby Joe Hooper, who will shoot for Dayton. And it's 55-44 Dayton. JoJo White throwing it up for the Jayhawks, and Don May going high over the rim to take the rebound. And here is a 3-on-1 fast break situation as Hooper leads the way down, but he wants to run the clock. No shot. 1 minute to play in the game. Dayton with the ball and a 10, 11-point lead. 55-44. 2,000 Dayton fans picking up the chance that we're number one. Dayton runs the clock. 45 seconds to go. Stay tuned immediately following for the awards presentation. The most valuable player in the All-Star team, and of course the championship team, which appears is going to be Dayton. 36 seconds left, and Kansas fouls again. The foul is against Rich Bradshaw, his third. And it sends Jim Gotchel to the free throw line for Dayton. And some of those Dayton players on the floor are all smiles. And they have the big lead now. 55-44. 36 seconds left to go in the game. 56-44 as Dayton closes in on the NIT Championship. Jim Gotchel hits again for Dayton. He has scored 6 points. And now, Bobby Joe Hooper comes out of the ball game for Dayton for the last time as the 6-foot senior from Lee's Creek, Ohio, gets a standing ovation from a good part of the crowd here at Madison Square Garden. Dayton leads by 11. 22 seconds left to go in the game. Coming up court with the ball is Jim Gotchel, and he is fouled by Bruce Sloan of Kansas. Has a couple of substitutes out in the game for Dayton. Carpenter and number 35, George Jackie. And now, Don May comes out of the game, and look at that. That tells the whole story. Senior Don May, perhaps the greatest basketball player in Dayton history, out of the game, and the ovation is tremendous.
Don, do you have any doubt about who the MVP will go to? I don't want to predict this, but there's some possibility Don may be right in there running for it, right?
Just might get that. Here's a foul on Harmon of Kansas that'll send Gotchel back to the free throw line. Jerry Gotchel now in the game, the twin brother of Jim, who played for us almost the entire game. Jerry Gotchel falls in the free throw. 60-48, Dayton by 12. 61-48, Dayton by 13 points, and they're 7 seconds away from the NIT title.